Notti Osama was more than just another teenager from Harlem. He was a rising star in New York's drill music scene with raw talent and a passion that set him apart. But at only 14 years old, his life was tragically cut short in a brutal, violent altercation that shook his family, friends, and fans to the core. Imagine growing up with the rough reality of Harlem's streets, where music can be both a creative outlet and a dangerous game. For Notti, drill rap was his voice, his escape, and ultimately the source of a dangerous rivalry. His older brother, Osama, has since memorialized him through music, pouring his heart into each track to honor Notti's memory. Join us as we explore Notti Osama's rise to fame, the challenges he faced, and the tragic series of events that led to his untimely death. This is the story of a young artist gone far too soon, a story of talent, family, and the heartbreaking consequences of the street life he tried to capture in his lyrics.
Hey, yo! It is a yo!
A talented rapper was born in Harlem, and today, his older brother, Osama, has become a major name on New York City's drill scene at only 17. Known as David Deshaun Reyes, Osama is one of the most prominent figures in the city's drill rap movement. Unlike the days when Harlem's drill artists performed in underground clubs, artists like Osama now reach massive audiences on platforms like YouTube and Spotify, amassing millions of streams by sharing stories of street life and survival. Before Osama took the spotlight, it was his younger brother who seemed destined to lead. David was motivated to start rapping by his then 13-year-old brother, known as Notti Osama. In 2021, Notti, one of New York's youngest rappers, stepped up to the mic, channeling his Harlem upbringing and early exposure to street violence into his music. Tragically, before Diddy's career could fully take off, Notti lost his life in a fatal shootout, marking a significant moment in New York's drill music scene. Notti Osama, whose real name was Ethan Reyes, followed the footsteps of his older brother, J-Star Balla, who had already established himself in the world of drill rap. While J-Star didn't achieve the same mainstream recognition, he understood the risks of the genre, a lesson young Ethan would take to heart. Inspired by his brother's dedication, Notti's passion for music would eventually spark Osama's career, shaping both his life and the future of drill rap in New York. Notti Osama, born Ethan Reyes on January 17, 2008 in Harlem, New York, grew up in an area long associated with violence. Despite a decrease in crime over time, Harlem continues to face gang-related conflict, where hearing gunfire is a common part of growing up. From a young age, Notti was aware that, as an African-American boy in Harlem, he would be exposed to street violence, which had surged in recent years. Like many underserved urban neighborhoods, Harlem has seen youth resolve their conflicts publicly, often turning to music as a way to express the harsh realities they face. This environment shaped Ethan's life, and he soon turned to rap, finding it a powerful outlet in a world where others his age were still focused on school. Coming from a musical family, Notti began to see music as a form of self-expression, starting to write his own lyrics at just 12. He looked up to Harlem's own A$AP Rocky, who made his way into American pop culture and aimed to make his mark in the same way. Although he initially wanted to break through as a part of a group, Notti ultimately decided to put his own music independently, following his idol's footsteps. Even as a child, he approached his craft seriously, aware that his older brother's involvement in the drill scene had stirred up some rivalry. Notti channeled his experiences in Harlem into his music, hoping to rise in the industry, just like A$AP Rocky. Ethan's life was tragically cut short in July 2022, but by then, the 14-year-old had already made his presence known. He began performing under the name Notti Osama, an alias chosen to signify a villain phase, inspired by the infamous Osama bin Laden. In the drill scene, adopting this moniker was intended to send a bold message to his rivals, many of whom were much older. The name was not about controversy, but rather about embodying an alter ego that challenged convention, allowing him to stand his ground and make his mark on Harlem's music scene in his own way. 2 years later, with his name firmly established in the underground scene, the rapper got tattoos on his face that read Demon and Osama. Notti Osama's rap style was raw and bold. He came from a turbulent neighborhood in Harlem, and he used explicit lyrics to paint a vivid picture of his experiences. Growing up with protective older siblings, his lyricism and flow put him on par with some of the top names in the underground drill world. so it was no surprise that Notti's career took off at just 13. At the same time, he built a reputation for his no-holds-barred approach toward rivals, a style choice that gained him plenty of enemies. Despite this, Notti Osama's career was thriving. Notti's breakout track, Whip Him, was released on YouTube. He was ready to step out from the shadows of his successful rapper brothers and make a statement. The music video for Whip Him ended up making a big impact on his enemies, whom he often called ops. Within days of the song's release, both the underground and mainstream drill communities took notice. Rap and hip-hop blogs quickly highlighted Notti as the latest rising talent in the Reyes family, and it was clear he was poised to make waves in the drill scene. The following year, Notti performed to a sold-out crowd at SOB's, a legendary venue for rising talent in New York City. Fans gathered at Sounds of Brazil to hear a Harlem voice unfiltered in expressing the themes of vengeance and rivalry that define Notti's neighborhood. Collaborations with established and upcoming New York artists further bolstered his presence as he joined the Crew 900, a group of young NYC rappers. From a young age, he was consistently hitting the studio with his brothers to refine his style and flow, efforts that quickly paid off. Notti's reputation surged after the release of his debut mixtape, Don't Start No Stuff, in March 2022, which left a lasting mark on the drill scene. The mixtape charted on iTunes' hip-hop category almost instantly, signaling the young artist from Harlem had truly arrived. Notti's popularity grew even further with the co-sign from 50 Cent, who was struck by the talent that this young artist possessed. Despite Don't Start No Stuff being his first major project, Notti held nothing back, rapping about Harlem's struggle and direct disses aimed at rival groups. His lyrics drew reactions from his opponents, inspiring some to respond with their own music, and others, sadly, with violence. Even so, Don't Start No Stuff was a powerful release. Tracks like The Subway Shooter gained more attention after Notti's passing, cementing his impact in drill. The track Dead Ops became especially significant as it highlighted both Notti and Didi, ruthlessly calling out their rivals and rapidly gaining popularity. Despite his rising fame, Notti retained his youthful charm. He was famously camera shy. In a casual interview with friends, when asked, "We'll tell you everything about him," Notti's notorious affiliations, it highlighted a different side of him. Nas' rise in music was anything but peaceful. Like many Harlem rappers, navigating the music scene without gang involvement was nearly impossible for teenagers. Sources confirmed that the young rapper was a willing associate of the original Youngin Gang, or OY, as it's known in New York. While OY isn't the city's most violent or organized gang, it's deeply tied to the rap scene, with a reputation for gunfights, stabbings, and clashes with rival musicians. Notti Osama was born into the OY gang, with family members active in it. The Reyes family name is closely linked to the violent incidents often attributed to OY. Na fully embraced his OY background in his music, often boasting about his affiliation, which his gang used to assert dominance over rivals in the music world and beyond. Even in collaborations with his brother Didi, the duo regularly highlighted their family's gang ties, frequently challenging their adversaries. In the track Evil Twins Part 2, Na directly insulted a rival. The intense lyrics implied that anyone disrespecting OY was marked for death. Unsurprisingly, the song is among his most popular tracks. On Genius alone, Evil Twins Part 2 has racked up over 100,000 views. In Aftermath, Notti directly acknowledges the harsh reality of gang conflicts, while also affirming his unwavering loyalty to his gang, declaring OY OG to the day I die. Astonishingly, he wrote those lyrics at just 13 years old. Aftermath became one of Notti's most recognized songs, packed with intense themes, including his readiness to confront rival gang members. Although his career was short-lived, Notti frequently antagonized his rivals, who were primarily enemies of his gang. Like his brothers and the fellow gang members at OY hotspots like Sugar Hill and Hamilton Heights, he was entangled in gang-related violence, a reality that ultimately claimed the life of this 14-year-old with a promising future. In his final hours, the duality of Notti Osama's life becomes evident. Though he was far from a typical teenager, beneath his hardened persona, he was still a 14-year-old attending high school in Harlem. This tough reality is all too common among young drill rappers in New York City. Even at his age, Notti was involved in real conflicts, not just in his music. The name Osama came with its share of tensions. The family had built it numerous feuds through their music and rivalries. It was almost inevitable that Notti would continue this path, engaging in violent disputes with rivals. His family, including his brother Didi, was on the verge of becoming recognized as the king of New York streets. Didn't step in at that point, seeing Notti as a young talent experiencing a pivotal moment in his life. It wasn't surprising that Nah was getting into conflicts with rappers his age. His rivals weren't as established or didn't have the same exposure as those in groups like 900 Crew or SSOB, so it didn't feel especially notable when Nah ended up in a feud with a 15-year-old rival. But one thing was certain, no one expected these young teens to turn to weapons over a disagreement reportedly rooted in rap itself. Before the deadly incident, Nah's clashes were usually limited to rap battles and lyrical disses. Although his gang OY had a reputation in certain circles, most of Nah's recognition was from his online presence, where he was more known for being lighthearted. Unlike his siblings, he used TikTok and Instagram to share bits of his life beyond music, showing school tours and everyday moments. His strong following on social media, which was eventually taken down, gave him a broader audience that was less familiar with drill rap. That's why it was so shocking for many to learn that this young artist they had seen grow up online had lost his life after a violent altercation. Reports indicate that Nah had been the one to instigate the conflict that ultimately led to his death, a move even those close to him hadn't anticipated. His day had started out normally, though friends had noticed the tension in him, likely because his feud with Martinez had intensified. Still, on July 9th, 2022, Nah's day started like any other. By nightfall, though, a promising young artist was gone, and another teen was on the run from the NYPD. So what happened? To this day, there are no details on how a typical summer day for Notti transformed into a dangerous chase with his rival, Martinez. The 15-year-old rapper was known for provoking his opponents, and his association with the gang that Notti often criticized didn't help matters. While the police chose to remain silent about the incident to further prevent violence in Harlem, it's evident that Notti acted in a way that pleased his gang. Oh why? On July 9th, 2022, Notti was out with a friend when he allegedly crossed paths with his rival in his old neighborhood, East Harlem. By this time, Notti had relocated to Yonkers, New York, but he frequently visited the streets that launched his rap career. The teenager regularly returned home to Harlem to collaborate with other rappers and reconnect with old friends, making it common for him to be seen around. However, the situation quickly escalated when Notti's casual outing turned into a gang confrontation. It's reported that Notti and his friends encountered Martinez in the area, leading to a heated exchange. In an instant, the teenager began pursuing Martinez, looking for a violent confrontation. Around 3 p.m., Notti and an associate was spotted near a subway station in Manhattan, desperately searching for Martinez. They weren't unarmed. CCTV footage revealed that Notti was wielding the broken handle of a broom to confront Martinez. When the two rivals finally faced each other, their altercation was swift and intense. Notti attempted to subdue Martinez with the broken wood, but Martinez pulled out a knife and slashed Notti's abdomen. After the stabbing, Martinez fled the scene, leaving the younger rapper bleeding in the subway. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, but it was too late. By the time Notti's brothers and fellow OY members arrived, Martinez had already escaped. Later, he was brought to the police station by his mother, who claimed her son was traumatized by the incident, asserting that Notti had pursued him with the intent to kill. Hospital records from that day indicated that Martinez also sustained puncture wounds when Osama's friend swung a sharp object at him. However, these injuries were not severe enough to incapacitate him, following him to escape while the 14-year-old rapper struggled with the fatal wound. In response to the situation, the New York Police Department acted swiftly. They quickly realized that Notti's stabbing was not an isolated event. The incident was part of a broader culture of violence prevalent in Harlem. While Notti's tragic death might have pushed his gang to retaliate, the other side of the story was equally complex. Martinez was also a 15-year-old rapper who had recently made a name for himself in the gang scene. He wasn't a full-fledged gang member with his own operations. After the incident, he was arrested and charged with a second-degree murder. However, his mother collaborated with prosecutors to explain her son's motivations, leading to a reduction of the charge to first-degree manslaughter. Evidence and CCTV footage from around Manhattan showed that Martinez acted in self-defense. It was clear that Notti's rivals had pursued him with the intent to harm. While it remains unclear how Martinez managed to pull out the knife quickly, this detail was secondary to the situation, leading to an additional charge for illegal possession. The aftermath of Notti's death was chaotic. Social media erupted, with fans and peers expressing their condolences and support. High-profile figures like 50 Cent also offered prayers for him. It later came to light that Notti was working on new music before his death, and footage from his studio sessions began circulating online. However, the tragic loss of Notti Osama was viewed as a victory by his rivals. They wasted no time exploiting the situation, quickly releasing the song Notti Bop, which implied a sense of triumph in the ongoing conflict. The song's lyrics were harsh. Lines reflecting the loss of life included, "He got poked one time, stopped breathing. His mans left him, and he was on the floor bleeding." I cannot die on a train like Ethan. To make matters worse, the track gained significant traction on TikTok, where influencers began using it to create dance challenges. The grim incident surrounding it went viral for all the wrong reasons, with some users even attempting to reenact Ethan Reyes' stabbing in front of Buckingham Palace. Unfortunately, trivializing death and parodying a brutal murder has become a trend in drill rap. Even some of Notti's closest associates have engaged in similar behavior. The fact that Notti was just 14 and had so much potential added to the tragedy. Many TikTok users were unaware of the context behind the song. Drill rap isn't a mainstream genre, and while some hip-hop circles mourned Osama, a significant number of people were oblivious to the circumstances. It was shocking to see TikTok users feigning a stabbing over Notti Bop, a trend that persisted until the platform began removing the insensitive videos. Content warnings were eventually added to Notti Bop as users became aware of the tragedy surrounding the loss of a young, promising life. However, the trend spiraled out of control. During Didi's performance of Letter to Notti, a tribute song he wrote shortly after his brother's death, some people in the crowd shouted, "Notti Bop." TikTok was the only platform where this situation unfolded. Although the police did not officially comment on the incident, there were claims that a member of the O Gang might have harmed a rival for publicly performing the Notti Bop dance. Thankfully, the violence did not spill into the streets of Harlem, as Notti brothers, including Didi, chose to channel their grief and emotions into their music. In an interview with Complex, Didi expressed his deep regret for not being there for his brother, who was on the brink of success like him. Reflecting on their future, he said, "If my little brother never died, then we were both going to blow up. I'd be saying that all the time. It just would have taken a little more time. We just would have had to wait until the world saw our faces, and then everyone would see us." Interestingly, after his brother's death, Didi felt compelled to identify himself as an artist rather than just a drill rapper. Although his brother's passing brought him considerable fame, the 17-year-old wasn't focused on it. He shared, "Notti's loss is indeed tragic. At the same time, it reminds us of the dark side of drill rap, where art intersects with terrifying violence." The tragic story of Notti Osama and the events following his death underscored the complex relationship between drill rap and violence. The genre, often associated with hard-hitting lyrics, aggressive beats, and stories drawn from life in high-crime areas, has been criticized for promoting a culture of revenge and retaliation. In Notti's case, the lyrics and imagery surrounding his life became intertwined with his fame, echoing the struggles and risks that young artists face when they come up in environments where violence is a daily reality. The release of Notti Bop and the widespread use of the song on TikTok highlight how social media can amplify violent themes without proper context or sensitivity. While drill rap fans might see the song as an extension of a rivalry or a product of the street life culture, others are often unaware of the painful stories behind the music. The viral trend that arose from Notti Bop unintentionally turned a tragic loss into entertainment, sparking debates on the ethics of consuming and sharing content that glorifies violence or mocks death. This case also sheds light on how TikTok has become a platform where dark humor and shock value drive views. For many users, the significance behind Notti Bop had been lost, yet the catchy beat and dance trend pushed the song into viral territory. TikTok's algorithm, which rewards engaging content, further spread the song without considering the story behind it. Even after the platform intervened to remove some of the most insensitive videos, the trend continued. This is a reminder that social media platforms have an important role to play in moderating content to prevent the glorification of violence, particularly when young audiences may not fully understand the implications. The impact of Notti's story goes beyond the internet and social media trends. It reflects the lives of the countless young people in communities where drill rap originated. Harlem, like other urban areas, has a history of economic hardship, which has influenced the lives of many residents. This environment often breeds cycles of violence that are difficult to break, especially for young people who feel the need to survive by any means necessary. For some, joining gangs or associating with them becomes a means of protection or a way to gain a sense of belonging and purpose. The popularity of drill rap among young people can be attributed to the way it expresses the harsh realities of the street life, often serving as an outlet for those who have experienced trauma and hardship. Artists like Didi, who lost his brother to this environment, face a challenging choice. On one hand, the genre provides a platform to share their stories and make a living. On the other, it pulls them into the same cycle of violence they may wish to escape. After Notti's death, Didi began to rethink his approach, focusing on establishing himself as an artist rather than just a drill rapper. He wanted to break away from the stereotypes associated with drill rap, seeking to reach a broader audience to tell his story in a way that wouldn't be overshadowed by gang affiliations. In this, Didi exemplifies a new wave of drill artists who are attempting to redefine the genre by highlighting their struggles without glorifying violence. While drill rap often receives criticism, it's important to recognize the resilience and creativity of artists who make it. Many of them turn to music, not only as a form of expression, but as a way out of difficult circumstances. For Didi and others in his position, music can provide a sense of hope, even when it's intertwined with pain and loss. This hope is especially critical for young people in communities affected by crime and poverty. By sharing their stories, artists like Didi open up a conversation about the challenges they face and the changes needed in their communities. Alright, so that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.